Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cultural Resets Artist Interview Series. We got a super special artist here that I'm very happy to have here. Hails from the Magic City, Birmingham, Alabama, and he's also a Belmont University alum, which is one of the most premier music universities in the world. We have Houston Kendrick in the building.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely, we're so excited.
I'm
So,
I'm I've been listening to your album Small Infinity multiple times because it is very much a small infinity. And I just wanted to say that, I'm somebody that sits down and loves to listen to a whole album, and that album is so complete and takes you in immediately and holds you there, and it's so comforting, and you can just literally go through it over and over and over again and not even realizing that you're listening to it over and over again. So
thank, thank you. That means a ton. Thank you so much. I'm glad that it resonates. That's the only reason I do music.
for art, when did you get your start as an artist?
My gosh, I feel like I've just been doing this thing since I like popped out into the world, honestly. But I guess officially I got my start when I was about 15 years old. I did this little single called Mine, and it was an R&B single, and I linked up with this local record label, and I was always performing. I was in choirs and show choirs, theater all throughout my upbringing. So like that was when I got my introduction to being in a studio and writing and recording and all these different things. And I caught the bug. I've been hooked ever since.
That's awesome. So it was just kept the steam going and building.
Mhm.
How have you like learned, or I guess changed throughout your journey? Because I know, like Nick mentioned that you went to this amazing school that, gives you the education that you need in order to be the artist that you are. But how do you feel you've transformed?
My God, it's a constant transformation. I feel like I still have much more transforming to do, and it's just like every single day I feel like a new human sometimes. But yeah, life is sort of my teacher in a lot of ways. So like starting off in music, being a Black boy from the South who's obviously queer, and that being sort of discouraged and growing up very Christian household. I was really confused about a lot of things, and I was getting so many different messages from um, the world, from my family, from schoolmates. Like there are just so many things to download as a young person, especially somebody who is struggling with their identity. So the only thing I knew how to do was just sort of reinvent and recreate, because I've always been the kind of person that believes that I can create the world that I want to be in. And so as I got older and as I started to expand my artistic ability and started to sort of expand my worldview, it just became very easy for me to become this sort of chameleon in art, in music, in life in general. So yeah, I don't know if that really answered the question, but all of I am the whole of all the experiences that have brought me up to this point. And from this point on, I will continue to be that exact same whole. Um, so yeah, the transformation happens slowly over a really long period of time, and I just have a long way to go still, I think. But yeah.
Can I just say, like, I love that you touched on that, like, kind of like the different experiences that you've had and like how they all come together. Like, you take them into account when you do your art, but also like being who you are. And I remember we
Yeah.
talked to another LGBTQ plus artist. They were POC, they were Black actually, and they're from the Midwest. And they're talking about kind of like a similar experience where it's just like you're getting all of these sort of, you know, preachings, I guess, from all these different sides, and you have your family. It's just like, I don't condone who you are, but also you have like, and in their case, it was like a schooling type of thing where like they went to like an all white school and they kind of projected who they wanted him to be, you know,
Mm,
and
yeah.
it was just very, very, very stressful. But what they were talking about was that they did exactly what you did. They found a way to combine all of those experiences and like put them into their artwork, and I think that
You're
that's
talking about Shav, right?
exactly.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Mm,
we had a very good conversation with them about that. And they were also somebody who was able to, and you mentioned, that you're a chameleon, and I think that that's a great way to describe you, because you really do take many forms, and like, you know, absorb and reflect your environment. And, you know, I want to talk about Small Infinity again, because I just feel like, you know, getting to learn about you and understand you through your music, and then actually being able to sit down and talk to you and like, you know, learn about your intellect and like how you were able to create that, it makes sense, you know. And I think that your environment, I mean, how do you feel like your environment has kind of like helped direct you, or if it's something that you carry with you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just in life in general, your environment is supposed to sort of serve as sandpaper to you to form and mold you and shape you. And for me, being in a city like Nashville, I'm currently based in Nashville, being in a city that is mainly country and sort of pop heavy, it's been really difficult to sort of find a lane and find a voice, and find a platform to be heard on. So like when making this album, I was just sort of like, you know what, forget about all the other stuff, forget about the expectation, forget about my contemporaries and my peers. It's just time to really be authentic and just tell a story the way I want it to be told. So I allow my environment to mold me, to form me, to influence what I do, but I can only let it do that to a certain extent, because I have to have sort of like a very tight internal world, like a very fortified internal world, in order to create the kinds of art that I want to see created, you know? So yeah, I guess the way that my environment has shaped my creative process throughout the album and just in general is just, you know, you take what you can use and you leave what you can't.
That's your song Good Evening Tennessee. That's what comes to mind. I feel like that really culminated that, what you just said.
Yeah, Good Evening Tennessee felt like such a it's a coming out party. It feels so cathartic to be able to sort of bump my chest a little bit and be cocky, but also still demure and like still that vulnerable little child. But I mean, I'm grown now, and like Good Evening Tennessee exemplifies that coming of age. Like the prince that was cast away has returned home to reclaim the throne. That's what that felt like writing it. So yeah.
I think you guys have touched a lot on like the theme of the album, which was really, really dope. But for me, what got me was the vocal composition. I
Oh,
sucker for vocals, and I just you served. Like I don't really know what else to say. Like you
thank you.
vocal.
Thank you.
Like that's why I kind of wanted to go back to this like vocal education that you got from Belmont. Like,
Right.
did that like influence like your abilities in some sort of way? I mean, or like what?
Yeah,
How?
absolutely. I mean, being in a major that is just literally, you're there to learn about your voice, the instrument of your voice. You're there to learn about musical pedagogy, music theory. You're learning about everything. You're about how to master your craft, essentially. So like it's going to fine tune some things, because like a lot of people go into any sort of classical training or like professional training as diamonds in the rough. So like it definitely was nice to be able to learn from my peers as well as my teachers and just be exposed to so many different vocal stylings. And me, I have ADHD, so like my brain is bouncing from here to there to here to there all the time. So I feel like musically, I kind of do the same thing, because I've been exposed to so many different vocal styles and so many genres that I've fallen in love with, that I have to find a way to incorporate all of it in the way I sing, in the way I perform, because my voice is just another instrument at the end of the day, to make a bigger composition. So like listening to Frank Ocean's vocals, the way he stacks, the way he harmonizes, listening to Beyonce's really lush vocal stacks, from Start Over to I Care from the 4 album. I mean, one of my really good friends from here in Nashville, Yeba, she has one of the most insane voices that I've ever heard in my life, and getting to sing with her for the years that we sang together really showed me how to remain in tune with the craft of singing, because if you don't, the music just loses all of its grit and loses its teeth. Like the listener has to be able to hear that you are really believing the words that you're performing, and that has everything to do with mastering the craft of vocals. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I heard that. Like, that's the first thing that I personally recognize when I'm listening to any form of music. Like, the production's cool, lyrics are great too, but like, it's like, can I feel what this person is trying to tell me right now? And I felt everything. So it's cool to see how like Belmont like played a role in that. Is there like a reason why you decided to pursue a formal education at Belmont?
Well, it's complicated. I didn't really want to go to school for anything in particular, but you know, growing up with, you know, Southern Baptist Black parents, you going to college, like you going to college. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to college, my top three schools were NYU, Berkeley, and Belmont. I ended up getting into Berkeley and Belmont, and my parents said you're going to Belmont, so that's what I did. And I was, the reason I'm sort of framing it that way is because I was hesitant to go. Like I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the South. I didn't know if I wanted to go to an institution that was a Baptist Christian institution. I didn't know if I wanted to do that. But going was such a rewarding experience. It was such a rewarding experience. Just having the opportunity to be away from home and really pursue my craft and really pursue refining my craft. It just made sense when I got there, you know, like regardless of if the circumstances around me getting to this place were like my most ideal circumstances, the end product was just something really great for me that I would not undo. I wouldn't replace that experience ever.
Well, being in an environment with so many other talented creatives, I'm sure presents a lot of opportunities, which is really, you know, awesome. We have conversations about music education, you know, every once in a while, you know, somebody has some kind of experience or lack of access or some kind of stigma to overcome when they are seeking education in music specifically. Yeah. I don't really know if I'm leading to a question with this, but it's just like, I almost like, you know, sometimes where it's just like musicians going to school probably because their parents said they needed an education.
Yeah.
And so I'm really, really also, you know, like you have to say like, I got this education though. And more than that, I met these people, I made these connections, I, you know, like have resources. And that's something that the creatives need in the music industry, you know, and a lot of musicians who don't have access to education, you know, inside of the US or around the world, are lacking those resources and those connections and the ability to, you know, get themselves the resources that they need.
Oh, you're 1,000% correct about that. I mean, there's no discounting the importance of music education in general, arts education. We need more funding. We need more performing arts centers. We need more of all these things because there's so many creative kids with just insane amounts of potential here in our backyards, essentially. That are slighted, I feel like, and get the short end of the stick. So yeah, that's a good point that you make for sure.
Yeah. I want to also ask too, you know, where are you or where do you feel like you're headed as an artist? Because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of evolution with your journey. There's been a lot of evolution in your sound. You already talked about how you incorporate a wealth of different like things you've heard into your music. Where do you feel like you're going now in 2021?
Well, my plan has always been world domination.
Yes.
I'm gonna take over the world. You just wait on it. Like you wait and see. Where I am right now is I'm really honing in on the craft of creating good visuals. Like I am somebody who is just, I see music. I've always seen music. I see albums as full stories, almost like storybooks. And that's why, like, whenever I order an album, order a track list, I'm just like, this has to flow so naturally into this, it has to make sense narratively. And whenever I come back and I'm going to do, and I want to do a short film or something, like, it has to just work sonically. So, like, where I am right now is I'm just trying to expand on my fashion vocabulary, my film vocabulary, photography vocabulary, all these different elements that I think make visuals so impactful because, my God, it's kind of crazy to say it this way, but the music is really, for me, like, I want 70% of the story I'm trying to tell. The other 30% has to do with, you know, what I see when I write music, what I see when I listen to music. So the rest of 2021, we're working on some really amazing visuals, and I'm still working on a bunch of new music that's going to have crazy new sounds that I've not really tried before. And I'm just feeling like a kid in a candy store right now. Like I'm just feeling so inspired by everything. It feels electric, and I don't know. This is releasing this album was just so important for me, and I feel for our culture, just because I haven't I haven't been able to relate to a gay black male artist yet, like an out gay black male artist who does R&B music and doesn't really have a genre even per se. Like I haven't had many of those. I had Frank Ocean, but Frank Ocean is a very different kind of queer artist. He's somebody who is an introvert, somebody who is much more cerebral and intellectual. He's not so outwardly stereotypically quote unquote queer. I don't know if that is even the correct thing to say, but like I want to be that for all of the little queer POCs out there that don't understand that what they have is magic. The way they see the world, the way they interpret things, like it's special, it's unique, it's different, and it's not a handicap. It's a very powerful weapon or tool rather. So yeah, I see this thing going all the way, and I'm not stopping until it gets there.
And that is why you are a cultural resetter. You are actively resetting the culture.
Period.
I mean, like for me, like just I know that you're gonna go far because you have a mission. You have a mission. It's like it's ingrained in you. Like we didn't have to ask, like, hey, what's your mission with your art? Because it's usually something that we ask. It just
I mean,
comes.
we do ask, and it's fine if we have to, but
Right.
It just oozes out of you. Like it's just you. You know what I mean? Like you want to be that person, that kind of beacon of light to queer people who see the world in their own way, so they're not discouraged. And I think that
Yeah.
that's oh, so
Thank you. Thank you.
so sorry. Were you gonna...
No,
Okay. I I wanted to ask, we do want to highlight POC and LGBTQ plus creatives, and I was wondering if there's anyone that comes to mind when you think of people who are resetting the culture. It can be like somebody you work with or somebody else in the industry.
That is a really good question. I know right now I've been extremely stupid inspired by Doja Cat, like in the most insane, crazy way. Like, and I know that's sort of a mainstreamish sort of answer, but like I am so drawn to eccentricity and experimentalism and that sort of surrealism that she brings to the pop space. And she's barred up. Like the girl can really, really rap. And that is just, it's not something I've seen since like a Nicki Minaj came onto the scene. And that to me is so inspiring. Like I just love seeing somebody who takes as many risks as she does. And I'm just feeling like she makes me feel powerful. Like listening to her music and listening to just that freedom and like reckless abandon that she has is just like, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing right now. This is what the world needs to be on.
yeah, I agree with you so much, Houston, on Doja. We could talk about Doja, Nicki, and all the cultural resetters for hours. But I agree with you, and I feel
Really.
like for me, what makes Doja so like incredible is that Doja is not in a box. She can do what
Right.
Nicki kind of does, like she does the rap, but she's just a good lyricist. She's a good songwriter, so that translates to the singing that she does. That translates to the way that she's able to like be very versatile in her art.
Yeah.
And like it all fits into this package, but it's not like a package in a box. It's like her constantly evolving, but it's still her. And it's just
Yes. No, I literally, yes. Retweet 1,000 times. Yes. She's just got the thing. Like, and we all know when we see the thing, it's just the thing, and you just got to give it up. Like that's the thing. This is what the people came for. I will not leave a crumb. I will eat it all up. Absolutely.
yeah.
She's an innovator. I mean, visually, and she collaborates with so many people too. And I think that a willingness to collaborate with other creatives makes you a better creative. Makes it so that you can be inspired so much more and
Yes.
inspire others. I I love, you know, the emotion that she provokes for you, and definitely does for others.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you can go ahead, actually.
Oh, I was just saying, like, the point you made about collaborators and like being a gracious and like willing collaborator is such an important part of art. Like I just think art's so pointless if it's crazy individualized. Like collaboration is just like the fruit of what we do. Like getting to share that with each other is just the most absurdly amazing, incredible feeling. But
Yeah,
yes, go
that's
ahead.
exactly what I was going to ask. You just answered my question. I was thinking, like, do you prefer collaboration more to individual work, or is it, which one is it?
I think I'm always going to prefer like working individually just because that's when I'm most like raw and vulnerable. But I think as far as like what I enjoy more, I love writing with people. I love getting into a room and like have someone tell me their story and figure out how we can best interpret it and like use each other's strengths and blend stuff together and make a delicious musical smoothie. Like it's one of my favorite things in the world.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the voice of a collaborator there. That's somebody that is so willing to just be like, yes, give me all of it. I'll take it all.
Yes, literally. I just let's talk about your trauma. Like right now, let's get into it.
Oh my God.
Like a whole therapy session in the studio session.
Yes. Actually, let's turn the camera on with you guys. Yes. I'm kidding.
That's how you create community though.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are cultivating here is very, we want to be able to continue to talk to you and get to know you and bring people together. You said that other than Frank Ocean, you don't really have any other Black queer and R&B-ish people to look up to, but on our website we do. So it's like, if we can connect people, I think that is the best way to, it's resources. Once again, it's like, finding the resources to connect with people and really, because it's not only, in front of the mic, it's also, behind the soundboards. It takes so many levels of creativity. Although I will say there are some creatives who can just do it all.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Respect.
Yes, respect to them. Y'all are aliens. But yes.
I want to also ask too, I guess, what advice would you give to POC and LGBTQ plus creatives, young creatives, but just creatives in general, actually, who are trying to kind of make their way in the industry? What would you say to them at all?
I would say to them that you have got to be tenacious. You have to be a beast at what you do. You have to be, and I hate that this is even a thing, but you're just gonna have to accept the fact that you're gonna have to be 10 times greater than anybody else. It doesn't even have to do with your identity or anything like that. You just remove identity from it. You as an individual, as a queer person, as a POC person, as both of those things, you are going to have to be a beast and really want what this is that you're going after. If you keep that hunger and that drive, like nothing will stop you. There's no ceiling. Like the opportunities are absolutely boundless. And I also want to emphasize that the things that the world tells you are your handicaps are not. Like I have to reiterate that. Like the fact that you are a POC, the fact that you are LGBTQIA plus is not a handicap. That is an advantage. That's a worldview. That's a perspective that so few of us in the grand scheme of things really resonate with and understand and can relate to. And that's something that you should always use to your advantage because it is powerful. And just having a knowledge of self, like make sure you know who you are. You need to be your best friend. Like you gotta love yourself hard, baby, hard. And that'll carry you through. That'll carry you through.
You are your own universe.
Amen. Clock it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
I love to see it.
Oh my God. We told you about ourselves, prior to recording. Okay.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. I lost you for a second. But, is there anything to the topic of POC and queer identity in the music space that is something that you have come across that you would like to see changed in the music industry?
There's so much. There's a lot there. I think to make it simple, I think there just has to be less of a box that queer artists are thrown into. It feels like you just become a pride artist if you're gay, and like the content that you create, the music, just everything that you offer is sort of discounted. They'll put the label gay on it, and you're over there on that side of the business, you know? That's changing slowly but surely. But yeah, it's just unfortunate to feel that owning your identity is going to be something that boxes you in more when it should be something that's incredibly liberating. So yeah, that's the biggest change I'd like to see, is just allowing the music, allowing the art to breathe and define itself.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot, like a lot, like a whole lot. This idea that once you embrace any facet of your identity, if you're AAPI or if you're part of the LGBTQ plus community or if you're Black, like the industry immediately tries to segment you to the market that it feels will purchase your work and engage with your content or whatever. But the truth is, like, they're boxing you away from another facet of the market who also like would be open to liking your stuff and really like, engaging with your content as well. So it's like the music industry, it's trying to make money, and that makes sense because it's a business. The industry is a business, but at the same time, it's like a business that's kind of eating its own tail. You know what I mean? It's just kind of eating itself.
Absolutely.
It doesn't believe.
Eating its own tail.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a visual.
I'm gonna write that down actually.
That's a good
I mean, that's what I've, always noticed. And I think a really good example of what you're talking about specifically is Todrick Hall. Todrick Hall, incredible, like literally one of the most talented human beings I've ever followed in my life. I follow him so good. And I just felt like his talent and his like creative vision was just objectively engaging. But then over the years, I always saw he was kind of segmented into like doing performances only for Pride festivals, or doing or hosting on like a RuPaul's Drag Race and only like shows that cater to LGBTQ plus audiences. And I'm like, that's not really where Todrick got his start though. Like he got to start on American Idol. He got to start striving to be a mainstream, I guess, artist that catered to everyone because he could do anything. And then the just sort of segmented him as this like independent LGBTQ plus artist, and I think it's really kind of made his image and his like brand smaller than it should be.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, 1,000% agree with that. It's so strange to me how counterintuitive it is to fight marginalization and platform marginalized people by marginalizing them. It's strange. It makes not a lick of sense, but yeah, that's what's happening. So it's always happened.
I also want to say that there's so much music out there though that is inspiring and therapeutic and puts in the right motivating words into your mind so that you are able to embrace yourself with your pride in the industry. It's just like a matter of who do you actually listen to and who do you let it just run off your back. There's a lot there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate in this world, and you've got to choose who you take to heart.
That is so true. Protect your energy, young ones. Protect your energy.
What's your sign?
Yeah.
What's my sign?
Yeah.
I'm a Pisces.
Okay. Very nice.
I see. What's the Pisces?
I don't know.
What did you say?
What are the traits of Pisces?
Oh my gosh. Well, we are the punching bag of the internet now, apparently. We're awful, but no, we're just empaths and emotional and sweet and just like really cute and
You just see the world in like a sensitive light. Okay, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, like we're feelers. We're feelers.
That's good. Why are you getting bashed on the internet? That's not fair. The heck?
Because apparently we're toxic, y'all. I don't know where. Apparently we toxic.
I get along with Pisces just fine. But back to the topic. Sorry to get distracted.
Right.
I'm sorry. So I want to, head into what is coming next for you.
Okay.
Anything that you want to shout out right now, if you want.
There's a lot coming up this year.
Okay.
That's so stupid. I feel so stupid.
Open-ended.
Yes, right now I'm working on a really big visual project, and yeah, I'm really excited for it to come out. I'm working on a lot of things right now, so there will be a lot of things coming before the end of the year, and 2022 is going to be even bigger. So yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm excited for it. I'm very excited. I'm trying to see what's coming next, especially visually wise. I'm really interested.
Well, I think you should be.
Well, make sure go follow Houston Kendrick and make sure that you're prepared whenever this vague next big thing happens.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
It could be anything.
Yes, could be anything. Who knows what it is?
And go follow TCR if you haven't yet.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say before we go, like, thank you
sorry.
so much, Houston, just for like coming on this platform and having this conversation with us. Like, I really think that this is like an impactful conversation that I don't think a lot of people are having. So just thank you for being a part of it, and we are happy to have had you.
We're happy to have you in our community too.
Thank you guys so much. It really has. It's been lovely talking to you guys. Y'all are cool as hell, and I'm excited for you guys because y'all have a really cool platform. And this is like a really, really valuable thing for all of us. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning into another episode of TCR's Artist Interview Series. Tune in next week for some more incredible artists. We'll catch you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.